Hello, everyone. My name is Kwamia Ross, and today my message is called I Won't Give My Enemies the Satisfaction. Now, excuse me, I told this story probably a while ago, a few months ago, that several years ago when I first went into ministry, I made an altar call. And there was a woman pastor, female pastor, when I got up in the line and answered the altar call for the Lord. She said, "This will either make you or break you." And at that time, I had no clue what she was talking about. I just knew I wanted to be used in God's kingdom. Well, today, I want to let you know, yes, you hurt me. You took my children from me. You pitted up people against me, came up against me. You destroyed my vehicles, my possessions. You caused me to lose my home. You attacked me physically in my body, caused me to have all types of ailments, gave me a heart attack, put fat all over me, caused me to gain all this weight. Did all types of spiritual things against me, called me crazy, slandered me, made me look really bad. I had no one in my corner. I had no one. And, for a moment, because I went to see my son yesterday, he had a hearing yesterday at the juvenile court. And I saw him shackled up from head to toe pretty much. Well, he had handcuffs around his arms. And he had this big, heavy belt around him, which the handcuffs were chained to and connected to. And I looked at my son in that state, and for a moment, it really hurt. It hurt because it's like, here my son is, 15 years old, disabled, hadn't done anything. He did nothing to anyone. He was a victim his entire life, with everyone coming up against him, every enemy against him, adults and people plotting against my son, doing things to destroy him, destructive things. And here he is, because he made one bad moment of judgment and had a box cutter and implied that he was going to do something, told them that he was going to do something, never acted on it or anything. We don't know if he would have acted on it. He never acted on it. But then was stripped completely from his home, his family once again, separated from his family, not allowed to see his mother for a whole week, could not talk to her. A disabled child going through all this, sent to a group home, ran away from the group home because he's trying to find his family, went into someone else's home, and he didn't do anything. But yeah, now he's shackled up for those offenses. And he's facing a felony, getting ready to serve time. But yet the people who molested him, the people who abused him and did things to him, they're walking around free. And for a minute I looked at God and says, Lord, that's not justice. That's not justice. And then I thought about, the wicked have done everything they could. My enemies have come up against me. They watched my page, had me removed from my home and pink slip, put me in a mental institution because they watch every day looking for something to find to say so they can use it against me because they're miserable. And they want me to be miserable. They wanted to do everything they could to break me. They took my children out of the home. I haven't even been able to talk to my daughter who was in foster care permanently because they took her phone from her weeks ago. Now they took the Apple Watch that I bought her. We bought her a watch. I bought her an Apple Watch for Christmas. They took that from her. I haven't been able to contact her at all. They stopped the visitations, did everything they could to separate me from my children and to destroy and break me. Well, I'm here to let you know I'm not broken. And I'm going to continue to walk around with my head held up high because I know that I didn't do anything. I know that I served my purpose and I fulfilled my purpose that God had me here for. Yes, you hurt me when you took my children because my children was the life for me. They gave me light. And before you try to use it against me and say, I'm making threats to kill myself. No, try again. Okay. The thing I'm saying with what I meant and what I mean is that my children made me a better version of myself. They gave me a purpose to do better with my life. Before I had my children, these youngest two children, I was a mess. I was out there in the world. I was a mess, and my life was in disarray. I was here and there, out there. Like I told the story before, I was out there. And I was doing sin. I was being used as an instrument by the devil. I wasn't hurting other people. Well, I did things I wasn't proud of. I degraded myself. I didn't respect myself. I wasn't a good mother to my eldest children. And I wasn't proud of that. But you know what I did? I didn't sit here making excuses, blaming people. I didn't blame my mom. I didn't blame my dad, even though my dad did a lot to destroy my life. I didn't sit here blaming anyone. Yes, I was angry at God for a long time. But I was able to come to him and release that pain to him. And he was able to turn me around and make me the better version of myself who I am. I was led into ministry to do the work of God to help others and bring them out of bondage. And I answered that call. I was used. I allowed God to use me for a purpose. I went around for probably 12 to 15 years doing the work of God, going to different places, praying for people, bringing people out of bondage, ministering to people. I've written books. I've done so much in the kingdom of God. I've made videos. So I can walk at the end of the day, I will walk with my head held up high. because you've done everything in your power to try and destroy me, and you did not succeed. You did not succeed. My enemies did not succeed at destroying me. You might have taken my children things from me to hurt me. And guess what? You will pay for that. There will be a judgment day. And you will not get away with all the deplorable and depraved things that you've done to destroy families. I mean, you did this to me because you were miserable. You looked at me with envy and hatred and animosity because your life was miserable. Yeah, you felt like a big man. You felt good and important when you could sit here and go in court and spout lies and slander and under oath and have my kids taken from me. You feel powerful that you have the ability to take children out of their parents' houses and separate families. You have the power to do that. You've chosen to do evil with your power. And that makes you feel good because your biggest contribution to this earth is destroying the lives of children and separating families. You feel good doing that because deep down inside, you're inferior. Deep down inside, you have insecurities that you haven't dealt with because you haven't given your life over to Christ. But I will not let the darkness destroy me because I will continue to walk with light. And yes, my children were the best and most important thing that ever happened to me. And I would never stop loving my children. And to this day, I still ask God for justice. Because while my son is locked up, while my daughter is off somewhere where I can't even speak to her, and separated from her family at 18 years old, being held hostage. Yes, I call it hostage because when you manipulate a child and will not allow her to go home when she wants to and keep her and away from her family, do everything you can to separate the communication and ties, that's kidnapping my eyes. But they kept her hostage and kept her away from her family, but that's okay. Because like I said, I have a vindicator and God may take a very long time. And sometimes I feel like there's no one in my corner because no one come to my rescue. I could sit here and make videos, not one person will come. You think anybody called to talk to me and console me? Did anyone come by our home? We tried to call people, they ignore us because they don't want to get involved. But that's okay because you know what? At the end of the day, I have God here. And those people who did not help us, sadly, there will be a time when you're going to want someone to help you. We reap everything we sow. When you can't help others and God has asked you to help those people, you won't receive help in your hour of need. And so I'm just here to let you all know, those who watched and did all these things, put me in a bondage, kept me in poverty, attacked me on jobs, did everything you could to make me look bad, slandered me, caused things to happen in the spiritual realm, released demonic attacks at me and my family to cause things to happen so you could take my children from me and separate me from my children. Guess what? There is a judge who has seen everything. I'm not talking about the judges here who do evil and who could allow trials to go on without the parent having adequate legal representation or the child having an attorney present, but could still go forth and proceed with a hearing. One that isn't fair and that's one-sided, where the witness, the victim, and who can have all these allegations presented against them be able to say a word in defense. No, we're talking about a fair judge who has seen all of it. Yes, a compassionate judge who is merciful, but a God who is a judge. A God who does get vindication. A God who does get justice on our behalf. A God who does right every wrong that's been done and turn everything around that the enemy is meant for our harm. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'll be able to hold up my head high. You can say whatever you said and throw rocks at me, but I know what I've done. And I know I walked worthy of my calling. I know that what I've done in God's eyes, and the enemy cannot accuse me anymore. Yes, I was that girl many years ago. I was that woman. But I turned my life around and I did good in God's kingdom. But will you be able to hold your head high when judgment day comes, when God stands before you and asks you, what have you done with the life that he's given you? And that's all I have to say. Thank you.